kind of catalog it for anybody who's actually paying attention or is interested in this particular thing that I'm going to be getting into more of. So a while back, I reached out to an artist called Nathan Gordon, and does a lot of amazing work. In fact, he's the one whose work inspired me to realize, like, oh my gosh, like there's some really cool stuff we can do. Like, what I was looking to create, like this is possible already, and we can even take it a step further. So with all that being said, I basically reached out to him. I had some questions and whatever, and so he got back to me a while back, and anyways. So I basically, obviously, I've kind of mentioned a few times. I'm, experimenting, getting familiar with the animation side of front end development. And anyways, as I'm going to be building these little tutorials or this whole kind of things, I had to, like, okay, focus. There's a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of real world things, right? And so this is just kind of a quick thing of me, just like real fast off the top of my head, so I have to go through, but from it's not going to be strictly technical, if that makes sense, but some of it is going to be, seeing how the animation part applies to these, and how I'm going to be using them, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So anyways, the very first thing, because I'm going to be mentioning animation a couple times in future videos, but the first thing that you'll notice when it comes out is I'll actually be doing a couple of videos specifically on the 12 principles of animation and how they apply to the web. And when those do come out, then you'll know that I'm starting to produce these sort of more specific videos about animation. But the funny thing is like I'm setting up that particular one first because it is, at the end of the day, the most important thing that's easily overlooked by everybody, and I think it's because we don't really know how to apply it to the internet. So that's where I'm hoping to sort of start that conversation and see where we can take it from there. So that's something that actually I myself am experimenting with right now on my own time, to sort of like, okay, cool, how can I incorporate this? How do I take the principles and apply them using the current tools available on the internet, right? For browsers, what tools do I have access to? How can I use those tools? And I need to demonstrate these principles. And once I sort of have a very good understanding of how to demonstrate those principles using these tools, I have a better understanding of the tools and how to apply them for a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Starting with Legos, like little bitty baby blocks, and then from there growing to something much more complex, much more cool, and really starting to change the landscape and how things are viewed on browsers and the internet for animation specifically. And so, that's me. I'm going to be leading the charge on web animation, so keep an eye out. With that being said, obviously there's a whole bunch of other things too, right? There's stuff that we already know, right? CSS animation, what its limitations, why it's important, why it's not. Canvas. The thing is, I feel that the canvas is not really being utilized the way it could, and so during my exploration, I've come across a number of things, and I think I need to address the canvas specifically because there's a whole world that can be opened when we're using this properly. And that's going to require people to know Vanilla.js. I'm not going to be that guy who teaches the technicalities of Vanilla.js, just basic JavaScript, nothing special, no frameworks, no nothing. I'm not going to be that technical guy, but I am going to, obviously have to go through some very straightforward stuff and explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and it'll be good for everybody. In fact, I think if you don't know JavaScript, it's going to be a really good way of actually becoming familiar with it and learning about it and experimenting with it. Okay, Web Animation API, that's been around for quite some time, and we're going to talk about it. GreenSock Productions is also known as GSAP, is an amazing tool that's built more for animators, and we'll talk about that. WebGL, I'm looking at WebGL because I'm looking at also 3D animation, right? Getting some really cool stuff in there, and I'll talk about all this later in videos. I just wanted to kind of get it on on paper, on digital paper, for my own recording, my own process. So WebGL, we gotta touch on, we gotta explore it. Like what is it? Why is it not being utilized? Why is it being utilized? How? Where is it complex? 3JS library. Once again, we're talking about 3D animation, and that's kind of leading the charge on that end. Maya, Blender. Maya is something that I am very familiar with because of my past as an animator, and that is a software program for creating 3D assets, 3D characters, all that stuff. That being said, I know it costs money, so I don't know if everybody's gonna have access to it. So with that, I might actually do some exploration with Blender, which is a free tool, and it has just the same capabilities. At the end of the day, the important thing is that you understand and know animation. The tool does not help you become a better artist, right? And if you know the art, if you know the field, the tool you use, you just need to learn the specifics of that software, right? It doesn't matter what software you're using. Using Photoshop does not make you a good painter, okay? Making you a good painter, and then that allows you to figure out how to utilize Photoshop to its full potential as a painter. So that's an idea. 2D versus 3D. What's the difference? Adding that extra axis of X, Y, and then Z. That extra axis of Z can really throw people for a loop. And now we're dealing with code. I myself am curious how I'm going to explore that. And yeah, real physics versus manual. I think that's something that I need to cover because the computer can do so much for us, and we need to be careful of that because the computer actually can make things look fake. It can actually make things boring very, very quickly, and that's what the computer does. It's just a mathematical computation. There's no organicness in it, so we need to address some of that. Computer versus manual keyframes, very similar thing in regards to timing, in regards to just overall feel. And to do a lot of this exploration, I am looking at doing some sort of hashtag where I'll create like a hashtag 30-day web animation challenge or something. That's a really long hashtag. Maybe I'll tweak it, maybe not. I don't know. If you have a better idea for a hashtag, let me know. But I'm thinking I'll do like just 30 straight days where I'm just like tweaking stuff and exploring it. And that you learn a lot from those processes. Most of the things I've always learned have been from my own personal projects. I also need to update my own personal website, and it's all going to be geared towards animation and being that animation focused front-end developer animation, making that be the focus in the niche. And once I really kind of have a couple of parts of this, I'll go ahead and start incorporating that into my website, because my website ultimately at some point relatively soon, I hope to start producing content that I can monetize, something that I can start having some sort of purpose for the site, because it's no longer about a portfolio as much as it is, yes, demonstrating work, demonstrating skill sets to whatever, but also it's going to start becoming more about like, hey, here's some things that you can subscribe to, here's some things that you can grow from, and here's some things that you can buy if you want, that kind of thing. Like it needs to have a different function than it does right now, and it's served its purpose quite well, and it's done quite well for me, but I think at this point it's time to start slowly evolving it and moving it on to another life. So with all that being said, that covers it for now. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot more to come, and I will be filling these in probably during my monthly update. You'll probably see some more things, but I just wanted to get this on paper because it's cool, it's exciting, it's fun stuff. And if you're interested in this stuff, or you know somebody who is, and maybe they can take advantage of it, go ahead and share the video, share my channel, whatever the case is, and I will be happy to explore and talk with them about whatever. Okay, so animation 2018. Ooh, maybe that should be a thing. Like, I don't know. Hashtag animation 2018. So anyways, animation 2018, and thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day.